Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Under Construction. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as Train Man, and I have returned from the great Amtrak to make more videos for you guys and, go to work and all that jazz. But I'm back, and you may be wondering, first of all, where's the podcast? Here's the big surprise, I'm wondering that too. So, we haven't had the opportunity to do it. Okay, game, if you could work with me. So I just got SP3. I don't know, what sort of effects that's going to have on our ability to actually work on this map. Although right now it feels like it doesn't like doing terrain. Look at this. Look at this. This is not great. Shouldn't be doing this. Come on, game. What's wrong with you? You chew up CPU when I'm doing that or something? Like, you shouldn't be having this kind of problems with raising terrain. It seems to be working more or less, but it's just laggy. Or at least the cursor is lagging. No, everything's lagging. The whole game is going funny when I'm trying to do terrain. That's not right. That should not be happening. I should be able to do terrain. I have to do tons of terrain. Okay, I'm not liking this, because if it's going to keep up like this, I can't do this. And I was all excited for SP3 to fix things. And apparently it's just made making terrain impossible. Why is it when one thing gets fixed, other things break? And it's like before, yeah, it was kind of wonky, but it didn't do this. It didn't slow my game down this much. And it's not like anything's being maxed out, it's just trains just not being optimized for this. I don't know. I should be able to do this without too much trouble. Maybe it'll get over itself. Or maybe it's due to the size of the map, which I really hope it's not. Because I'm not interested in making a smaller map for the sake of doing this. This should not be this difficult. It should be just as easy as it was before. Things should not have gotten worse. They should have gotten better. But I guess I'm just going to have to get used to this. Maybe it'll give me the reason to do terrain tracking more. Or again. Because that would reduce the amount that I have to do this. Because look at it. It goes to like 10 frames a second when I'm doing that. It's not fair. That's not right. It's not good either. It's just preventing me from doing terrain accurately. Although, if I turn up the sensitivity, it means I can probably cover more area more easily. No, it seems like it's still performing the same. It's just lagging. Like, it's just doing a low frame rate while still doing effectively the same thing. The only issue is then I have less control, which is a minor problem. I'm wondering if it's just the raise and lower or it's the plateau tool as well. Let's find out. Plateau tool, turn this way out. Oh no, it's everything. It's manipulating terrain in general. And manipulating terrain was already bad enough, but I really can't work with the plateau tool if it's going to do this. I mean, I can, I guess, but I'm going to have to sort of... No. Look at that. I can't make the smooth edges that I should be able to make. Is anybody else experiencing this? I don't know. I'll have to check out the trains forums. Yeah, this is real bad. I just installed SP3, and again, hoped things would be better, but things are not better necessarily in this case. This is significantly worse. I can't really work with this. Oh, this is frustrating because I need to do all this terrain. It's the biggest thing that I have to do right now. I guess we'll just avoid this for now and hope we get another update soon. I don't want to be stuck doing no terrain because terrain is hands down, probably the most important thing that we have to do at this point. And I've talked about that before. Hopefully it's just terrain and nothing else is having these problems. So we'll work over here instead. I am wondering, again, if this is an isolated problem with me or if other people are experiencing this, because if it's just me, then I have things to work on. But if other people are experiencing this, then N3V has something to work on. I don't know. This is not great. It's not great to not be able to adjust terrain precisely. I should be able to do that. I have to be able to do that in order to actually make good-looking terrain. We got new music in the past 2 weeks. I haven't heard this song before. Or 3 weeks, really, I guess it was. Alright, let's put... I guess we're just going to work in here for now, because this is what we have to do. And if I'm going to stay away from terrain work, then this is what I have to do. The next thing would be trees and stuff, which I'm not sure how copying and pasting is doing. I'm not sure how the crash-worthiness of this version of trains is yet. I'm sure we'll find out at some point. Hopefully not some point too soon, but some point. You know, I feel like I should really lower things again, because the new graphics card should be helping me. And I did the dumb thing where it's like, oh, I have a new graphics card, I can up the settings. Yeah, see, now my RAM is completely going nuts. And I'm assuming that if I decide to do this... Yeah, not great. Not all that great. Well, the placing things down seems to work fine. Let's see about placing texture. Alright, I'm turning that down for me. It's a little bit loud. I assume it's mostly fine for you guys. We do have a lot of questions, so... Oh no, this is real bad. I can't really place texture. This is much worse than it was. Ah. Not great. You know, things run pretty well when I'm not doing anything, but I need things to run well while I'm doing things. And again, I'm wondering what exactly actually happens that makes that the problem. You know, I guess it's the auto-saving? That's what would make sense to me. That's what's holding it up, because it's trying to catalog every change that you make. Yeah, that should not take that long. Is there anything I can change that'll help me with this? General settings. I don't know. No. Interface settings, no. Sound settings, control settings. Interface add-ons, no. Sound, no. No, I guess I can't change that. Again, that's what I have to assume it is, because it doesn't seem like the bottleneck is anywhere else. Trains is constantly, I assume it's Trains, is constantly using my disk, which I can hit the resource monitor here and look at it. I need to actually wait for that to boot up, and it will take a minute. Also, I need to fill in this area here. Oh, it's doing this again. And it stopped. Everything stopped. We've got the resource monitor. Alright, what is doing what? You guys can't really see this, but... I mean, my system is doing things, but my system's on a different thing. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about use on my other disk. No, it seems like it's fine. Disk R, queue length. Whoops, no, I didn't want to do that. I just want to hide this over here. Disk C is obviously having some issues, but that's not surprising at all. And Disk R really isn't doing that much, so what is it, Trains? What's the issue? Is it just the optimization in SP3 that's the problem? Because I feel like this is something that's sort of been going downhill for a while. But apparently it's not the biggest issue because nothing's really done about it. I'm gonna can the music, really, because that's just one more thing, and we'll see if that helps even a little bit. I doubt it will. Now we're just taking away from the quality of the episode by doing this. Yeah, no, this is difficult. That's unfortunate. I don't want it to be difficult. I want it to be easy. I want it to be easier. I don't want to have I don't want to have problems with pain. I don't want to have more reasons not to work on things. Of course, we can work on this for the time being and work on that stuff later, but eventually we'll have to come back to it. And I'm not sure if it's something I can do off camera. I'm not sure if it performs better off camera. I would kind of doubt it. But you never really know. I'm wondering if we can get a different texture in the middle here. Yes, we can. We did that elsewhere. Okay, but this is something that we need to... This is something we need to actually, sort of be precise for, which isn't happening. I can't make precise texture right now because I have to hold it over one spot for it to actually register. Oh, this is bad. I don't know. Is it my processor then? I mean, my processor and RAM are both pretty high. I'll give it that. But this is not an issue that we were having before. And both of those things have pretty much remained the same. So I can't say one way or the other what's causing this, and I definitely don't. I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure if I'm in the position to put too much into this computer. I will, if necessary. But every time I get a new component, I'm worried about my power supply because the reading is on the other side of the power supply itself, and I can't read what the wattage is. That is not a tool that you can use to check. Yeah, I need to put some money into this computer. I don't want to, because money, but I need to put some money into this computer. I need to put something better into it, because right now it's not up to snuff. It's not doing it. We are sort of running hot with pain. Wait, what is this? See everything, if at all possible. Oh, that is chewing up a lot. Can I just get rid of that? I doubt it'll probably crash Chrome, won't it? If I do that. I should henceforth write down all of the questions and then go off of them on like a sheet of paper or something. Or actually what I can do... Okay, let me close out some things. Let me get rid of some things and we'll continue. So get rid of that. The other stuff I need to keep alive, this is chewing up a lot. So I'm going to get rid of it. Yeah, goodbye. Okay, I don't know what that did then, because that was sure taking up a lot, and now it's not there anymore, and everything seems to be working fine. Okay, well, we're gonna find out. So, oh, and the moment I come back into Tane, everything shoots back up. Just tabbing out is oof. I can't tell you what we're gonna need to do about this. I guess I just need more processor and I need more RAM. So I'll look for something else that goes in the socket. I'll get it soon. I've never replaced a processor. Wow, now things are really going haywire after I got rid of that. Why is it going funny now and not then? Now we're just blowing away the processor for no good reason. This is chewing up a bunch again. Is this new? Goodbye. Hey, no, I said goodbye. Does it come back? Yes. It comes back. That's why. I assume it assumes it crashed, and so it brings itself back so that it won't be crashed. But I don't want that to happen. I want it to go away. So, I don't know. We have to do things that are less demanding, I guess, and I will have to get something soon because I can't work with it like that. You know, I can with difficulty, but I can't really for long periods of time and get the work done that I need to get done and get it done effectively. So we're going to have to do grass and stuff for the time being. Not that there's really a problem with that, because we had to get it done anyway. But in the meantime, while I work on the grass, I guess I'll get to the questions. Get rid of that, and get rid of that. I'll come back to that later. Okay. So, I'll start from the bottom, because why not? Caden Robinson says, great video. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate the praise, because we live in a world of negativity sometimes. Especially here on the internet, where everyone is critical of everything all the time, and everything sucks, and everything's terrible. So, having a little bit of praise, and having a little bit of light, where otherwise it would be like, hey, guess what? You suck. And I'd be like, thanks. It's good. It's good to have. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Okay, game. Come on. How are you gonna do this to me? How are you playing this? I just need to draw some textures. Yeah, this is awful. It's like I'm keeping a steady amount of frames per second. It's not like the render that's doing it. It's just the game that's having a problem. And it's not good. I mean, you can use more RAM if you need to. I've got an extra gig or two now, but right now it's not doing that. And that's probably not the issue. So, I will just keep doing this. Alright, next statement, or question in this case. 12 miles, you say? A valley, you say? A railroad fall in the river, you say? Will there also be a castle on a hill across the river? And a Chinese steam locomotive? Uh-oh. Can't answer that. And that's Sakoshio Films. And the answer is, I forgot about the castle on the hill, but I'm not planning on doing a Chinese steam locomotive, but you can clearly tell where I based it off of. And it's not something where it's like, haha, it's sort of like this. It's like, yes, I like the way this thing in real life is. I like the way the Valley Railroad is in real life, so I'm making this area based off of the Valley Railroad. You know, not completely, but just in a general sense, like, with all those things you mentioned. I'm not planning on a Chinese steam locomotive, but I am planning on, having that general look. And now that you mentioned it, I should have a castle on the hill now, shouldn't I? On the other side. There's room for it. It fits. Alright, that area is filled in. We'll work this way. We'll work sort of around this way. I should see if I can copy-paste, but with the way things are running right now, I don't think it's gonna let me. Not without serious problems. I just want to go back to terraining. It's all I want to do. It's what I want to do right now. Because that's the real elephant in the room. That's the real, like, you gotta get this done, and that's the real way you show progress, too. Because you have more land. You have more land to work on, more land to build on, more land to do scenery on. It's the basics for everything. And so, I'm racing to get this area done. Not racing, but I'm trying to get this area done. And with that as a very good measure of how done the area is, I'm not getting very far right now. Give me these. That is a little frustrating. I had high hopes for this. I thought things wouldn't get worse. But I need to get with the times. I need to get a better computer. Need to put some more effort into it. I need to put some more money into it. Tristan's Trains. Happy 4th, Ellis. So I recognized your voice on the Road to Denver series, and I was wondering what your thoughts were on the show. What are your thoughts of a train series in Gmod as opposed to another medium such as trains or other train simulators? I mean, I certainly think it gives you a lot of opportunities. And the Iron Horseman has at times used Gmod for things that otherwise would be unfeasible in trains, like collisions, etc. Bridges collapsing. And of course, scenes with actual, like, animated human beings that walk around. So it definitely gives, it definitely provides a lot of opportunity in terms of the, I guess, the right word is not the minutia, but the things that you can do with that versus the things that you can do in trains, where you are, in a lot of ways, limited by the fact that trains pretty much just has static people, they don't really walk around, and also the fact that you are limited to whatever models you can get your hands on, and modeling for trains is not an easy task. So, trains in its own way is limiting, and I honestly commend them for being able to pull that together, because having worked in Gary's mod for the Iron Horseman Chronicles, it takes a village sometimes. There are definitely times where we just haven't been able to get people together to do the scene, to make the scene, because you need a person behind every person. And, as well, behind every train, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You need somebody in the driver's seat of your trains most of the time. Whereas in trains, you can pause, first of all. You can set stuff going and leave it going. You have pretty much full control over what your world looks like. And, if modeling for trains is hard, map making for Gary's mod is a horse of a different color. It's on another level. And is something that, while I might attempt modeling, given some software that I'm familiar with, like AutoCAD, or, even Google SketchUp, while I might attempt modeling to get a train that I like, I would not even know where to begin to make a map in Gary's mod. That would be a feat. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because I want to save us a little bit of trouble, hey, come on now, is pull this up on my phone instead, because I'm going to close out Chrome on my desktop, and we will, that hopefully should free up some space, or some wham. Looks like it did, by quite some. So hold on, let me pull that up, Under Construction 52, make sure it doesn't play anything. Nope, shut up DreamWorks. Let's scroll down past all the recommendeds that I don't care about, because I'm not here to watch videos. No thanks, don't watch videos on my TV. Okay, the other thing, so other train simulators, you said. I don't know much about recording in other train simulators. I don't know, okay, here's the thing. And this is true even with the Iron Horseman, and you guys can call me, I don't know what you can call me. I don't know what the word would be necessarily. Maybe a hypocrite. For doing this, I don't watch the series. I don't even watch the Iron Horseman. Like, I have to watch it in editing. I usually export the final cut and go, okay, good, it's going on YouTube. And, there are people in the group that'll watch it, usually on a rough cut and get back to me about what needs to be changed. But once it's done, it's done. I'm done with it. I'm not going back to it. I have only very rarely rewatched episodes, and they're usually the ones that are exceptionally funny. At least I think so. Again, because I'm with it every step of the way. And that's one of the brilliant things about doing a series like that in trains, is because as long as you have all the lines together, you need one person exactly to do everything else. And that has been... what is this? That has been, in no small way, a godsend for me, because it's, like, you know, when it's tough to, like, okay, so use the podcast as an example. I need to get at least 2 other people, if not 3. You know, I have 2 co-hosts, or I have 3 co-hosts, 3 engineers, or 2 engineers and a motorman. And I try to have 2 of them, or I will not proceed without at least 2 of them. And there is immense difficulty in getting those people together to do this. So the same thing goes with recording in Gary's Mod, and like I've said, this has caused problems, especially in absolutely no small way with To Rule the World, getting people together to do the scenes, to be the actors, basically. And as well to drive the trains. And on top of that, to actually build all the stuff, because that's the other thing, everything in Gary's Mod has to be handmade. You're not going to pull a T1 out of the DLC for Gary's Mod. Somebody had to have made it, which, you know, to that end, there are a lot of people, a lot of very talented people, I might add, making a lot of very good-looking things, including a T1. And, that's sort of, you know, that's sort of one of the other things it's got going for it. You know, like I said, it's not rocket surgery to make stuff for trains, but it is much easier to make stuff in Gary's Mod. And so, you know, like I said, I stay away from Gary's Mod. Okay, I'm really annoyed with this right here, because this really shouldn't be here. I need to get this out of here. I'm going to end this process. I should get out of here. Okay. Hopefully that helped. I really got to slim down everything I'm doing when I'm doing this. And it didn't, because I'm already at 100% again. It's just too much. It's too much. Whatever the biggest changes to performance were in SP3, they dinged me a little bit too much. So I'm going to need to look at new parts. And I'm not looking forward to that, because I hardly have the time to go and... You know, I hardly have the time to make the videos in the first place, let alone, you know, search for parts, order them, install them, whatever, everything that goes with that. I've never put in a CPU before. I am daunted by that possibility, you know, with the thermal paste and everything. I know I can look up a tutorial online, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna be wicked scared. I'm gonna be scared. And I'm not looking forward to doing it. Like, I'm looking forward to the result, if it works, but I'm not looking forward to doing it. So, yeah. I will have to look into it. As much as I don't want to, I will have to look into it. So, yeah. I have a Phenom 2, I think. I need to figure out what fits in that slot. I know some hexes do, but if worst comes to worst, I'm going to have to get a new motherboard, and that is something I'm concerned about doing. That is something I'm kind of afraid of doing. Because that is a huge change to make. So, hopefully I don't have to do that. Hopefully a hex is enough of a change. I can talk to Kevon, he's our resident computer expert. But I don't want to, you know, I don't like pestering him too much about what's going on. And in the meantime, I'll just have to pretty much shut everything down and, you know, not do some of the stuff that I have to do and just work on this instead. Which, you know, we've got tons and tons of scenery to do. Even the stuff that doesn't require copy-paste. But I want to make terrain. It's what I'm here for right now. Anyway, what's the next question? Yeah. Oh, wait, no, I can still talk about the Road to Denver. So, the person in charge of making the scripts for the Road to Denver is Flegel. Flegel has written some stuff for the Iron Horseman Chronicles before, and he's also created some stuff for the Iron Horseman Chronicles before, including the reskins that we have of several engines. Chris included, I believe. And he's a talented guy. He can write a pretty good script, even if they go a little bit long when the Iron Horseman is involved. But that doesn't mean they lack in quality. I just have to go in there and pick some stuff out sometimes. We all do that. But sometimes I spend myself, or I spend more time and effort getting the script to a manageable length versus it being too long and cutting it down to a manageable length. It's, you know, the opposite side of the same coin. Sometimes you have an idea that goes on for tons of pages, sometimes you have an idea and it sort of peters out. But, needless to say, Fliegel's a talented guy, being in charge of that series, de facto in charge of that series. Of course, it's Ainz's series. But, you know, while I thoroughly enjoy doing the voice work for it, I don't watch it. I never watched, what was the big one? The Full Buccaneers, which is the thing that everyone wanted to emulate when we went to start the Iron Horseman Chronicles. And I was like, yeah, that sounds cool, I guess. I'm not watching it. I started to watch it and I couldn't deal with the faces. Despite having watched Thomas growing up. And Thomas and the Magic Railroad, whenever I feel like making myself feel guilty for liking Thomas. Despite all that, I couldn't do it. Because the real thing that got me, the thing that I really complained about, is if you're gonna have faces, make it consistent. And I can see the appeal to doing it where it's sometimes like, you know, if it's particularly emotional, then you show the face, but that doesn't make sense to the logical part of my brain that says either they have faces or they don't. And so yeah, maybe I could stomach the Road to Denver a little bit more, but at this point, I like it. I think it's cool, but I don't watch it. And of course, I mean no ill against the creators of the series because for starters, I know how gargantuan the undertaking for something like that actually is. Second of all, they are great people, and they're following their dreams and making this series a reality, which is in some ways more than I can say about the Iron Horseman right now, because we're sitting on like scene 6 of To Rule the World, which will be done someday. Someday. It's the question of if it comes out before 5550 breaks the speed record or not, but it will come out, and things will get easier in the not-so-distant future because I will be working from a place much closer to home and I'll have much more free time to do things, and so my Sundays will become more likely to be free. Because right now, Sundays are like my only free day. Like, ever, at all. So the fact that I want to dedicate those to Horseman Day really gets in the way of the fact that I'm trying to sort of have a life. I don't know. There's issues. It happens. I'm not proud of the fact that it's taken this long. I don't know. Anyway, watch The Road to Denver. It's, from all accounts, it is well loved. And furthermore, the people that are making it are really great people, and they deserve the attention. So, anyway, onward to the next comment. Oh, it's on my phone, that's right. Yeah, I haven't worked on other simulators. If you wanna ask me more specific questions about that, I'd be more than happy to answer them. It's just that's what comes to mind off the top of my head. It's you have this creative freedom in a way, but it's much harder to do things if you don't have many people available. And furthermore, you're limited to what you can construct on a rather small set. Evan Vlogs. Is Evan Games and Evan Vlogs the same person? Whatever. I'm gonna do, let's see, either Evan Games or Icer's comment next. Hold on. Let's see. I'll do Evan's Games comment. This is a normal size comment for me, he says. 1. Have you ever watched Doctor Who? Yes, I could go on about it for hours. If you want to entice me with questions, feel free. To get the major things out of the way, looking back on everything that I've watched out of Doctor Who, 10 is kind of a whiny bastard. I understand why people love him, but I do not love him that much. 11 is sort of dorky and goofy. Sort of same boat. When I watched through them the first time, to the two of them, I was like, yeah, these guys are great. And I watched through them again, I was like, okay, 11, tone it down. And with 10, I was like, you arrogant bastard. So, that's my thoughts on those two. Not that they're bad doctors. They're just not my favorites. I do like the War Doctor, but of course he's hardly one. For obvious reasons. 9 I thought was absolutely fantastic. And 12 is my current favorite. Peter Capaldi is a fantastically good actor. And he is faced with these scenarios, and he is a different kind of doctor. I think the writing is pretty good. For most of it, there are some episodes that are honestly kind of cringy, but it's the same way with every series. I felt like he really embodied that character in a way that we hadn't seen in the modern series. And the pairing with him and Clara is just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And the evolution, the metamorphosis that Clara goes through. I know a lot of people don't like Clara because we got a lot of Clara. And you might even say we got too much Clara. And I could see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from. We had her for a long time. First of all, I would 100% smash Jenna Louise Coleman. So that doesn't help with my assessment. Or, well, maybe it does. But the second thing is, I loved her character. She was just, bubbly and fun, in a way that no other companion really was. Amy was, in a way. But because she's mostly on her own, and because she's trying to live her own life, and not get super attached, it's like, okay, you're goofing off now. And then she, the roles are flipped with Capaldi, where she has to become his carer. I don't know. I love it. And then she slowly goes through what we see a lot of other companions go through much more subtly, which is the transition to being totally enamored with the lifestyle of traveling with the Doctor. And to the point where she'll do just about anything for him, and to the point where she effectively becomes him, and spoilers, the Raven. I thought it was fantastic. I love Clara for many reasons. I'm not saying that Karen Gillan isn't super hot, because she is. But, Anyway, yes, I love Doctor Who. Moving right along, the next part of your question, and I have to unlock my phone every time I do this. It's a 6-digit code because Outlook requires it. Do you like the SDP40F? Give me a second while I look this up. I think maybe SDP40F. I think I know what this is. Oh yeah, these things. The big F40s. I mean, I guess so. I think they're cool. I think they don't have the same curb appeal as the actual F40s do, but I think they're pretty cool. They're sort of mega F40s. They're the red nose scheme on Amtrak as I think their best look. I think that's like phase 1. They've got the arrow on the side of them. Yeah. And the black to up. Yeah, no, that looks good. I like that look for them. And I think they're pretty cool. Okay, what's the next part of the question? That was a fairly simple one to answer. Get rid of that. I don't need it. Have you ever been to New Hampshire? Tons and tons and tons of times. I'm only a couple of hours from New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire. I hiked up Mount Washington last summer. I have ridden the Cog twice, and ridden the Conway Scenic, and gone up there to snowboard, and what else is up there? Not much else. Yes, New Hampshire's awesome. It's got to be one of my favorite New England states. Then again, I don't have a lot of, I mean, I think Vermont's kind of lame, just because there's nothing there. New Hampshire's interesting, it's got some mountains. And a cool highway with a cool name. Yeah, no, there's a reason why on almost every single one of my maps, a town ends up being named Wambeck. I have a very outspoken love for the Mount Washington Cog Railway, and I visit there every chance I can get when I can spare the dough, because that place is expensive. It's a hell of a trip, but it's expensive. I went up there a couple of years ago for the first annual steampunk that they did, and that was a blast. That's the thing that I originally built my steampunk outfit for. So, to answer your question, yes, I have. What else? You know what, let me just finish filling this in, because now it's on my mind. Of course, the game will not let me. Something happened here on that corner. It keeps minimizing the comment. Do you like steam, diesel, or electric engines more? Steam all the way. Give me steam. I like steam engines because they take a little bit more of a careful hand in some ways. They're much more sort of physically interesting, I guess the word is, because you can look at them and see moving parts and things like that. Whereas diesels and electrics are, usually sort of almost like a casemate body where you can't see what's going on inside. There are some modern engines, like the Chargers, and the hypothermic B, whatever the hell they're using on the MBTA right now, where they've got these big windows that you can see inside, and also the Mount Washington Cog, to go back to them, has a biodiesel engine that has a plexiglass outside, so you can see all the inner workings. So that's pretty cool, but they are not nearly as impressive as a steam locomotive. It takes more finesse to run a steam engine than it does any other engine. And that really shows. Inside and out, they're completely different monsters than anything else. Anything, I was looking at, just as an aside, I was looking at steam cars the other day. And, because I didn't know the different brands of steam car. I knew there was the Stanley Steamers, and that's kind of where my knowledge ended. And so I found out about the Doble steam car, which, upon reading about it, sounds awesome, and I want one. Of course, there weren't that many made, so I'm never going to get one. But steam cars just seem so cool. But at the same time, they have mechanical advantages, but at the same time, they sort of take away the novelty of a steam engine, because it doesn't have exposed running gear, which obviously you wouldn't want on a street. But it doesn't have exposed running gear, it doesn't take, a fireman to stoke the fire, it's just, you just start it up. And you can go in, a very short period of time compared to a steam locomotive. Alright, I've got to keep going with this. I've got to start filling in this area here. But they're so cool. And it's, steam cars really sort of hit their stride in like the 1930s before they were immediately and completely overtaken by gasoline automobiles. And, way back when, at the very beginning of automobiles, the very beginning of auto tech, you saw a pretty even race between steam cars, gasoline cars, and electric cars. And only now are we seeing a resurgence of electric cars, and I doubt we're going to be seeing a resurgence of steam cars anytime soon. If at all. So, while the Doble is cool, it's the novelty, it's the real special things about steam locomotives that make steam locomotives the most interesting to me. Moreover, it's much more easy to tell, it's much easier to tell different steam engines apart. Um, steam engines have a unique design, and usually between classes things are, marketably different, notably different. And I know this is coming from somebody who actually cares about steam engines, so I tend to notice this stuff. As with anything, if you ever see anybody, foreign, you might think, oh, all these people look the same. Obviously, that's a racist thing to think and say. You generally shy away from saying that kind of thing in polite company. But if you grew up around a certain race, you will learn to recognize differences in that sort of set of appearances, and when you encounter something different, you're generally overwhelmed by just the difference for a long time before you can start to spot the smaller differences within that subset of people. And that's why people think that, this other race that they're unfamiliar with all looks the same. It's not because they all look the same, it's because they probably don't spend enough time around that race to really start to see the differences. If you're not a car person, all cars kind of look the same. But if you are, it's like, wow, there's this one, and it has this, body length and this styling and this. And to a normal person, it's like, yeah, it's a car. And the same thing happens with steam engines, diesel engines. To me, all diesel engines look the same. And I'm sorry, diesels. I don't mean to be typist, but I have a hard time telling diesel engines apart because I don't look at diesels that much. I'm just now reaching a point in my development of foamage where I can sort of tell some engines apart. At the very least, I can tell you what, the different generations of diesels. I can tell you the different builder, usually. Except for with modern, really modern diesels, I'm not good at that at all. But I'm learning, and that's what matters. Also, electric engines, see, there are not very many electric engines in this country. And so I don't really get that much exposure to them. But at the same time, I'm not really interested by electric engines because it's basically just a big toy train. It's, it's cool. Some of them look really cool. But, they're they're cool, I guess. I can't say much about them. I could say, there are certain ones that I love, of course, but I can't say that much about them. Anyway. Next bit. Have you ever seen one of the UP Big Boys? I think I've seen several. Well, I've seen bits of several, at least. I've seen the one in Scranton, which I think is the farthest east one. Yeah, it is, by far. I don't know which other ones I've seen. I think I've seen another one somewhere. But the one in Scranton is the one I've seen. Yes, I've seen a Big Boy. I have also seen parts of 4014, because they were... Okay, oh no. All the plants. God damn it. We're gonna have to live with that. I can't merge it because it'll blow up my my signal settings. I saw the wheels of 4014 parked in the shops at Strasbourg when we were there, when they were getting worked on. So, there's that. I have seen multiple Big Boys, technically. I have not seen two, but I have seen more than one. And I gotta say, they're impressive. They're big. I can see where they got the name from. I'm not the biggest UP fanboy. In fact, I'm kind of the opposite. But I can respect that the Big Boys are enormous and powerful. That said, I like some other Malleys better, but I'm not sure what my favorite big Mallet is. I know my favorite small Mallet. It's Unit 51. But I'm not sure what my favorite big Mallet is. Maybe the 4014. 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that I like the most. Maybe the 4014 is the one that the, what are they called? The real big things. Heaviest engine. I'm forgetting what it's called. Or the 2666, whatever. You guys know what I mean when I say that. There's only one engine that's like that. I can't remember the name of it right now. But that thing. So, that's probably my favorite big melee, just because it's kind of different. Aside from maybe the D&H Challengers, because those guys are interesting all, in their own way. They look kind of stupid, but they're interesting in their own way. What else? So that's the end of that comment. Actually, assuming that Evan Games and Evan Vlogs are the same person, he says, oh, and one more question, what's the meaning of life? 42. Well, actually, more accurately, that's the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. Not the meaning of life, but, it's same thing, sure. Anyway, time to move on to the real kicker. Hey Ellis, so if you go to the DLS and type in canal, you'll be greeted with about 99 assets plus a ton that are built in for canal-related assets. Cool. I will have to look into that in the future. I don't think I'm going to do the overt canal setup with the river that I've got. Because just, in building it, I seem to be able to get up at least a little bit easily enough, and to make it a canal would involve tightening it up, and doing a whole bunch of other work I'm not really prepared to do. Plus, I can't even make it right now. So what am I doing? I can't even think. I shouldn't even be allowed to think about this. Also, the Eastern Valley Railroad is mostly flat, but I plan to take it up to 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet or higher to have some coal trains being pulled by 5 EMDs, all SD40-2s. That's a good diesel right there. Or some other type, or 2 steam locos like the 2666. There it is. Or the 2882. And yeah, the Ben Dorsey, Ben Neal made those, and they're good models, even now. So yeah, that's a good pick. So what are the markings for all the different railroads that'll be on this map in their own color schemes? If you go back to the intro, you can actually see them. You've got the Gilson Eastern, the Folger Mountains Railroad, the New Shoreham Tramway, and the Zion and Skyline are all pictured there. And I did that so that everyone would have that sort of as a reference to look at. And the map as well, so I wouldn't have to pull it up. So if I'm talking about something on the map, you can go back to the intro and see the map. Voila! I didn't just make it to have an intro, I made it to give you information. Over time, maybe I'm not at all planned for this or prepared for this. I should update the map to show, like, how much is done. But that'll probably just be depressing. I have such a tiny amount done. It is depressing. It's honestly. I'm never getting this done, especially not at this rate, with the game acting the way it does. Which, use some more RAM, dude. You can. I gave you so much room to use RAM. I'm using like half of the RAM in my computer right now, and not even all of it's going to Tane. So it clearly just means I need a better processor. That's where my bottleneck is. So I can stick with 8 gigs of RAM unless I find a real good deal. Which I'll probably be able to do. A Newegg or something. And I need to look for another processor. Again, naturally, I'm going to have to look for another processor that fits my socket if I don't want to get a new motherboard, which I'm not thrilled about the concept of. Because at that point, I might as well be, I might as well start building a new computer. I'm not in the position to build a brand new computer. I'm really not. Fresh out of college, got too much to do. And not enough money to do it. You'd think, start a nice new engineering job, but I've been, sort of tallying up my finances. The moment I start living somewhere, start having to pay rent, and more importantly, start having to pay back my student loans, it's going to be a totally different ballgame with my life. Right now I can afford to go on these trips. Pretty soon I won't be able to. And I've got to save something. It's not like I can spend it all right away. At least I certainly shouldn't, just in case something happens. You never know what can happen to you, so save your money. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I can still make my videos and not bog the system down too much. But yeah, at this point, it's definitely coming to a point where I'm going to need new things, because I have been chugging along with this processor for 8 years now, and this RAM for the same length of time. They're pretty much the only things left in the computer that are original, aside from the motherboard itself. So, you know, there's pretty good reason for me to want to get some new stuff in here, but that's an expenditure. I will look at stuff after this if I have the time, because now, you know, again, it's threatening my ability to make this map, and that's what matters to me. And plus, then I can run 8 better. I don't have run 8 yet, but I'm gonna get it. So here's something that you all should know, especially those of you that play run 8. I love to dispatch. I've been wanting to dispatch ever since I watched TBA dispatch on run 8 on one of his streams that he did a long time ago, and I can't get enough of it. Like I explained to Wybold, it scratches a very peculiar itch that nothing else really satisfies. So I got to play run 8 while I was out there during the Amtrek. I did not touch a single train. I dispatched. I did a lot of dispatching, and I dispatched Mojave like a boss, and some of the things near it, you know, Cajon and the other places. Whatever. I don't even know their names. They're just places. And so, therefore, I'm gonna get run 8 soon. And I'm talking about, like, not spending money, but I want run 8. I at least want the base game just so I can dispatch, because that's what I want to do. That's all I want to do. I want to dispatch. And I've been saying that to TBA for literally years, and I finally got to do it, and it's like crack. I just need it more. So, for those of you in the comments that play run 8, I'm gonna get hooked up to some server, whatever they play on, whenever I start, and I am going to be the best dispatcher ever. And by that I mean I'm gonna try to get good. Because for me, the hardest thing right now is learning all the train symbols, what they mean and where they go. And that is something that I'm gonna have to do. And in the meantime, I'm gonna do the thing that I am always good at doing, which is making spreadsheets. And I'm gonna make a spreadsheet for that, so that if any other noob like me comes onto run 8, I can throw them the spreadsheet and go, now you know where everything goes. Because that's the most perplexing thing for me. It's really kind of difficult for me to remember where everything goes, and I'm not familiar with that area. I'm not familiar with, you know, modern reporting marks, not reporting marks for railroads, but reporting marks for trains, really at all. You know, I tend to make things up as I go for my own local things, and I need to learn all of that. If I'm going to be an effective dispatcher, I need to learn all of it. So, yeah. Looking forward to that, in a way, and dreading it in other ways. Is this like the grid or something? Okay. That's interesting. I don't know why they felt the need to mark out the edges of the tiles. But, hey, they did it, I guess. Thanks. Can I see this from the map? Out here it doesn't happen. It just happens like over here. I still don't... I don't get why. But it happens, so there's that. Okay, you know what? Screw this. We're going back to building terrain. I'm tired of not building terrain. I need to do it. I need it. This is the thing that we need to do. I'm just going to do it until I get tired of it, and then I'll stop, and I'll go back to doing something else. It's frustrating. Also, I might want to turn my sensitivity up if I want to get anywhere. At this point, I think if I was a noob, this would be damn near impossible. But because I'm not quite a noob, I can do this. Because I can sort of predict where things are going to end up when I stop fiddling with them. But the plateau tool, this is not good. This is not something that I can really work with. And again, I don't know if this is happening on other people's routes. I don't know if it's just my computer. My computer is not... It doesn't seem to be tanking when I'm doing this. It seems to be having just a fine and dandy time, so I don't know what's wrong. Out there my computer was having problems because of all the spline points. I thought it was just having problems in general, but maybe I don't necessarily need an upgrade right away. I just need to figure out what's causing this. And I don't know what is. Do I need to defrag my R drive? I wouldn't think so. It's pretty new. And it's got almost nothing on it. Is that what's causing this? No, it isn't hard drive usage. It isn't the computer bogging down. It's just trains. It's just trains doing this. And I hesitate because I'm afraid that it has to do with the fact that the map is big. And if it is, that's a real problem, and I don't want that to be the problem. I really don't want that to be the problem. I want my map to be okay in size. I want things to be okay. I just want to be able to build my map. Yeah, no, this is not good. I can't do this. I can't do it because I don't have control of the plateau tool at all. It's just sort of doing whatever. I mean, I have control, but I don't have I don't have feedback. Like, by the time something's happened, it's too far gone. I can't catch something in the middle of building. And it's tough to do sort of the feathering that I should be doing to get these things to look right, because either it's not enough or it's way too much. See, that's doing nothing. God, this is frustrating. I just want to build my route. Alright, we're going to have to pull this aside and work on... We're going to have to run an experiment. I don't want to do this, but we're going to have to run an experiment. Save the changes. We're going to go into the test map and we're going to see if it's doing the same thing there. Because if it's not, then it has everything to do with the world size, and that makes me very unhappy. So, go back... Where's my test world? Right here. Oh, you know what I just realized I can do? I just thought of something. And it has to do with Mason's way of doing things with the trees. So we're going to try something when we get back into Tolbrand. Let me finish going through this comment, though. Oh yeah, the markings for all the different railroads. So, the ZNS is like golden red and black. The Gilson Eastern is like this light blue and yellow and black. VMR is the ugly green and orange, like BNSF. And, the New Shoreham Tramway doesn't really have a designated paint scheme because they are a tramway and they have different lines that are different colors. Also, you should use the Bear River Bridge and Bigger Bear River Bridge somewhere on the route if there is a line going over the river. Okay, I will have to look into that. It also asks, when you talked about Round Table, were you talking about Camelot's Round Table? No, Camelot's a silly place. Let's not go there. Come on. Wow, it's taking forever to load, like, a 4-tile route. This is disappointing. Maybe I need to defrag that hard drive. It's kind of absurd if you ask me. It should be done already. Although I do have stuff scattered all over that route. Here we are. Alright, so... yeah, we have a lot of prototype stuff here. Also, I need to show you guys what I was working on. No, it just does this now. No, that's not good. N3V, you need to fix this. Is this doing this for everybody, or is this just me? It can't just be me, right? These things. No, not these things. That's a 210-2. That's a 2882. It's Jacques. DD1. Other stuff over here. Yeah, so let me... Okay, let's go back to the route then, because I was fully expectant that it would be that. I guess it's okay that it's not. It's not great, but I guess it's okay. Well, we're going to switch things around to get all the foliage on the right level, first of all. And then we're going to... what are we going to do? What was the other thing? Oh, no. I'll show you the thing first, and then we'll deal with the foliage. It's going to take a few minutes to get back into the route, so... I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I would love to try this when I got back. And I assume it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that I'm recording, because, again, it's not maxing out my computer. It's not doing, terrible things to my computer. It's just the game being sort of sticky. And so I'll have to check out the trains forums to see if it's just me or if it's other people that are having this issue. Okay, so let's go over here. This is what I started doing. And I started setting up staging. And of course it looks ridiculous. It's not going to look good. I did not plan for it to look good. Now it's got a big yellow stripe through the middle of it. But sure, whatever. And we've got 2 eye portals, one for the VMR, one for the Gilson Eastern. We've got switches for the eye portals. We've got the portals that previously existed. We have, this is for the eye portals as well, and then this is for trains coming onto the line, and under here, over here, will be the staging area for the route. So, it's the kind of thing where I wish you couldn't see it from Olive, but you can anyway. And there's not really much I can do about that. It's just the edge of the route. The route would end there anyway, if we're gonna be honest. If I left these tiles as the buffer block, nothing happens in these tiles. So, all things considered, by my own rules, it's fine. I think that crossover is pushing it. But nothing happens in those tiles, so we have the requisite 1 extra tile for a buffer before it stops being whatchamahoosit. Before it stops being scenic. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. Clownfish pond. Wait, I shouldn't be able to read that. It should be sunk into the ground, right? Okay, it's gone. No, it's not. Should be sunk into the ground. There we go. Okay, so we've got to get things on the right layer now. So it's all these things. What we have to do, we have to add a layer, and it's going to be foliage. And nothing's going to be on it right away, except what we're going to do is we are going to bulk asset update or replace. Get assets from world. This, and one other thing. That. Those should be the only things that I used. And we're not going to replace it, but we are going to move them all to foliage. Assets to update those anywhere on the route, I guess, because oof. Okay. Begin. That's it. It's done. Whoops, wrong thing. Why is it not hiding them then? Why is it not, did it not move them? No, I want... Do that. Begin. Why is it not doing it? Can I not do this with... Oh, right. You can't do it with splines, can you? No, you can. Okay. I've been lied to, I think. Wait, have I? Yeah, no, it did what I wanted it to do. Undo that, though. That one needs to update them all back. Okay. Wait. Did we get this? Yeah, with the shrub spline. No, we should be moving them all to foliage. Nope. They're not hiding. Okay, why? Why is this happening? Please, just let me do this, because... Because this is the only easy way to do this. Why does it keep switching to that? No, it's just this stuff, huh? Oh, and I should just be able to move all this stuff to the route layer anyway. Without... Yes. Move it to route layer. Just do that. Anywhere on the route. That doesn't do anything. No, it's not doing anything. It's not doing it. I guess we're just gonna have to live with that. Why isn't that working? What the hell? Come on, Tane. Get it together. Well, I guess we just have to keep working then. I'm gonna go copy-paste some trees. There were areas that were ready for it. We're gonna see if we can survive this. We're an hour and 12 in. We'll figure this out. Also, I wonder if copying, pasting, whatchamahoo's it? Like land formations is equally as gimped. Because before that was doing poorly. Before copy-paste was doing poorly in general. And it seems to still be doing pretty badly. Yeah, it seems to still be doing pretty badly. I can't, like... That took forever. So things clearly aren't going great. My computer's having a bad time again. Again, it's not the RAM, it's the processor right now, but again, I don't... you know, the little voice in my head is saying it's not doing it constantly, therefore the issues that you're having with terrain building are not, like, the same. And, you know, they're not coming from your lack of processor, they're coming from something within the game. And so that leads me to question, like I already said about 1,000 times, is anyone else having this problem? And I'll have to poke around the forums, or whatever. I don't know why some people have, like, sworn off the forums. I don't really get it. They seem fine to me. But the, yeah, no, I need to see if that's something that's become common, because if it is, then that's a much larger problem than even the AI, because now it's just tough to build a route. And that's not something that should be. It should be easy to build a route. This is trains. That's all we have. That's all we have. It's, you know, of all the things that other things do well, of all the things that different simulator softwares do well, the thing that trains does well is building routes and allowing for that kind of creativity. That's not something you can do really in most other things. You certainly can't do it in a Run 8 or Railworks or I mean, you can in what's the other one? You can in that other one. The Open Rails, that one. You can do it. It's a little bit tricky. It's not quite the same. It's not nearly as easy. So that's what we're good at. That's all we have, really. And we should really try to pride ourselves on our ability to do that. I just did that in the session layer. God damn it. Okay, so now we're going to try again, but this time we'll do it for real. Which is the bulk asset update and replace. So we're going to grab the tree. We're going to grab the other kind of tree. And we're going to grab the third kind of tree. Nope. Third kind of tree is the big leaf. No, not the birch. Big leaf maple. And we're going to move all of these to the route here. Okay, this time it did it. This time, for once, it has done it. It wasn't doing it with the other one. I wonder if I did something else in conjunction if it would work. I don't know, but it might. I'm not trying it right now. It's a small patch of grass. I'm not as concerned about it as my general deliberation on the subject might lead you to believe. So, we're going to continue trying to paste trees. Because these are the hurdle that we have to get over to actually make the route scenic. God damn it. Alright, undo that. I need to pay attention. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Alright. There. How about? And then there. I can only go like this far because this is as far as I've done the grass. There. There. I need to start working along the coast too. So this whole area needs love. Oh, now these are green. Alright, we've got green grid lines now. This area needs some work. I just sort of threw that down, didn't I? I didn't even really do grass over there or anything. That needs work. This area also needs work. It needs grass on this side of the tracks before we can do anything with it. Alright, so I'm going to try to make the scenery make its way to the shoreline here. Now that we've copy and pasted stuff without issue, without incident yet, so far. I'm gonna have to do this. I'll just work on this grass. It's all grass. It was mountains, now it's grass. So I apologize that there aren't, the huge groundbreaking, like, we built 5 more miles today or whatever. But this is what we're stuck with for now because things are not running well enough to build terrain. That said, it's still stepping in a direction. It's still stepping in the right direction. It's not the most urgent thing necessarily, but everything that isn't waiting on something else or isn't causing something else to wait is just as urgent because it doesn't matter what order I do this in. It's gonna all have to get done anyway. And that's sort of, if you are a dedicated route builder, you're probably going to be telling yourself that a lot. because you won't always want to be building the same thing all the time. And I've talked about how I really had to push myself to build all those suburbs in Olive. It's like, alright, I just gotta get a few more blocks done, And at the same time, it's also something that'll let you get away with doing what you want when you want. Because if you're telling yourself, any progress on the route is progress towards the route's completion, then you can do whatever you want, as long as you're not adding to the total amount of work that has to be done. So if, you have this big route planned out, and you have all these things that you have to do, but then you start building a branch line that wasn't originally part of your plan, then you're just adding work. Then you're adding to the total time it will take to finish the map. Whereas if you start, working on the scenery back towards the beginning, when you still have mountains to do towards the end, you're still chipping away at the total work that needs to be done to get that route complete. And that is something that, it has its pros and cons, sort of the way you tell yourself and justify what you're doing. If it's like, I was going to add this anyway, you need to be careful, because you need to not start adding things where you figure, I was going to add this anyway, but you were going to add it once all this other stuff was done. And I did sort of already do that to myself with the VMR here, where I started building them up the mountain before I was done doing the scenery all the way to Mace's Landing. But I did that for a reason of the scenery down here has to connect to it. So it's like, is it justifiable? Should I be doing this? And in the end, it's up to you, because you're the guy making the route. And in the end, it was up to me, and it was like, yes, I do need to do this because the terrain has to meet together, and the terrain really tells me what the scenery is going to look like. I don't necessarily have a scenery plan in my head when I go through each area. Oh, this is going to be difficult. Alright, we're just going to ease down the road. Oh my god, I feel like a drunk. Sort of staggering to one side or the other. It's letting me stay really on the road, but... oh, this is not great. I'm going to have to go over it again because I'm not covering an area that's wide enough. Nope. Easy does it. Go forward. Yeah, this is bad. I can't build like this. Oh god, I'm going to have to do ballast for those areas that I just threw trees down in. That's not going to be fun at all. That's going to be damn near impossible. Trying to follow those tracks. And it doesn't really get better when you stop moving. See, now my processor is having a bad day, but it's... normally it would be doing this in the area that I'm in. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that the game's freaking out over the texturing. Because it was doing this no matter the map. It was doing it no matter what everything else was at. If I turn everything down, maybe it'll help. But I don't feel like restarting the game right now to see. I'm just demoralized by the fact that it's, become so stupendously difficult to build a hill. Because it shouldn't be. There's no reason that it should be. Terrain building was so easy and so the word isn't harmless, but so effortless is the word back in 06, and it's gotten harder and harder. I don't know what's up with this game, but it just, for whatever reason, just manipulating terrain just causes it to freak out. And like I said, it's sort of been doing that in the meantime, but at least it kept a steady frame rate while it did it. It allowed me to have control that now I don't really have at all. And now we're maxing out again. And it could be in no small part because of the shadows. I wish I could sort of push more stuff onto the GPU, which I'm certain I'm not using to its extent. instead of my CPU, which is the weak point right now. The GPU is much better. The CPU is the bottleneck. So I will look at more parts, and I'm wondering if that's going to fix it. But I will have to look, again, at the forums to see if this is a common problem, or if this is just sort of something that's, you know, unique to me and is just going to make it so that my life sucks. Let me see, hold on. I'm just going to look on my phone real quick, because we're all done with the comments. And I'm going to go Tane SP3. And now my phone's lagging. Terrain lag. No. I don't see it. I don't see it. So it might just be me. Yeah, that's an archive post. I don't know. You know, again, does it, like, recalculate shadows when you do it? What happens if I hide this? Wow, everything runs so smoothly. If I hide the route layer, and then go over here. There's nothing to get in the way. Nothing at all. Nothing to recalculate or anything. Let's... No. No, doesn't help. It's not shadows, it's not graphics, because there's, you know, there's nothing to worry about here. And I should have figured that out. It's, you know, it's completely irrespective of route. On the smaller route, it didn't do this. Or on the smaller route, it did do this, sorry. It did it just the same. So, I can't blame Tolbrin's gigantic size for the lag. Which, again, is good and bad. Because it means that... No. It means that... Despite the fact that Tolbrin is huge and laggy, that's not the issue. I don't have to abandon Tolbrin because it's huge and laggy. I need to hope that something happens and Tane does not do this anymore. Or do whatever upgrades I have to do to make it so that Tane does not do this anymore. And it's so perplexing to me because I'm not seeing where the issue lies. I have tons of RAM available. I have plenty of processor available out here. I have, you know, way more graphics capability than I can really tap with this computer, with the rest of the rig. And my hard drive is not really chattering away at all. So the question persists. What is going on with Tane? I don't know. Part of me wants to just can the episode at an hour and a half because I'm demoralized. But we all know that that won't fly because we need to get stuff done. I'm here to get 2 hours of stuff done. I don't need to be working on the stuff that I immediately want to work on. I have to work on something, though. And so I can't just skip part of the episode for the sake of frustration. I just need to do the episode. And I think what I'm going to be doing here, instead of deleting these trees, is moving them off to the side. Stuffing them in the woods, trying to fill in the gaps that show up in the woods in. You know, and one to one side, one to the next. One to one side, one to the other. Oh, this is an area that shouldn't have trees up here, right? Right? Yeah. Like, all in here. This area I can delete trees from, because moving all these trees elsewhere would be insanity. That was the other thing. I think I needed... What did I need? Did I need... Did I need to put the other kinds of shrubberies in this area, or am I just doing that along the railroad track? Is it worth it to do it in other areas? Honestly, I'm not even sure it's worth doing grass in other areas, so I definitely don't want to do the triple layered with the shrubs and everything in an area where I'm not even certain if one kind of grass is necessary. So, I will contemplate that, and I will probably do it on a case-by-case basis, based on primarily where the tracks are nearby. Because that's really the indicator there. I need to pay attention to where the grass is, though. Unless the grass is on this side. No. So the grass creates this V here of open area, which is going to be sort of like a gully. I need to fill in that one spot that's missing right over there to my left. But, of course, it's going to be hell on earth because the game's going to freak out. Come on, game. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Open the paint menu. Alright, grab some grass. Fill it in. Even just filling in one square of grass is too much. It dropped to 17 FPS just filling in one square of grass. What is going on right now? What is wrong with Tane? What is wrong with my computer? What is the missing thing that I am not seeing that's really causing this problem? Because I don't want to have to bail on doing certain things on the route that need to be done in a timely fashion. You know, I've got to get the swamp done, sure, but the hills are a much more pressing issue. Because I mentioned before that as long as it's nothing that's a prerequisite for anything else, it's just as important as anything else. But the hills are a massive prerequisite. The hills you need all of before you start building the, doing this. And so it's immensely important for us to get those hills done. So, yeah. Can I... Post-processing's off. That's off. Turn that off, maybe. Turn this off. Turn that off. Turn all that down. So you can only see stuff in your very immediate area. So I turn everything as down as it'll go. Let's go back here and see if that changed anything. Because that would indicate that it's graphics, for whatever reason, that's causing the problem. No, it's not. It's not. We can turn that back up to make things look a little bit better. Turn that on high, turn that on normal. Process object behind the camera. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't line up. And it should, there should be a reason why it works out the way it does, and there isn't. Obviously there is a reason, I just don't know what it is. So therefore it feels like there isn't. But the fact of the matter is that there should be some sort of, at least somewhat obvious reason as to why the game is wigging out. And I feel like there never has been for that issue in particular. We've, like I said, since 06, it's sort of been steadily getting worse. And I figured, whatever. But it's totally getting worse. And yeah, I know, more modern games require more modern hardware, better, I need to update my computer some, certainly. But the fact of the matter is, it shouldn't be doing that, between service packs on the same game. What is happening here that it's requiring that much? What can I turn on to make it work better? If I go into train settings, no vertical sync, obviously, don't need that. Performance, use physics simulation, will that change it? I'm not sure. Detail update rate low. I don't even know what that does. Dev? No. Water quality low, post processing off. All these things are off. I could turn off the shadows. So I don't know. I turn on physics, but I don't think that's going to change things around here. At least not until I sort of back out and go back in. I don't know. Trains a new era. Lag while pregnant. Adjusting terrain. Come on, that should be like... I need to talk about just when adjusting terrain. That's it. Come on now. I just want to figure this out. This is going to consume me because this is the thing that's now standing in the way of getting all this work done. And we're so close too. We're here and here. Which we're going to cross the summit here and head down. So I can't, it's not like I can skip this now. And there's so much other there's so many other things that I could be doing, sure, but this is, this is a hurdle that we cannot cross. Can I, where is frickin'... No? No. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. Sorry, I'm totally distracted now. Ugh. I just want it to work. I came back in here expecting it to work, and it is not working. I can only hope they have a hotfix out soon that fixes those issues, because without them, I really can't do all that much. I have my hands effectively tied by taint. There's, and, furthermore, like I've said, it's just demoralizing not being able to do the big thing on the menu, and then even then, not being able to paint the ground. I can't do it. I can't do it without being able to do that without, keeping a frame rate above 20, or at least a steady frame rate, I don't care if it's a steady frame rate of 6. I care that it is steady. Because if it isn't, then I'm losing control. I don't have as much precision because I can't predict how long I need to hold the button for. So, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. Maybe it'll be better, but it doesn't just seem to be this route. It's all routes. It's not something I can get away from. Anyone with SP3 having these problems, let me know. Because it's not fair. I just want to build my route. But we'll just continue placing grass all over the place, I guess. That I can do. Copy-pasting trees, which apparently I can do now. Game hasn't crashed. Yet. Once we place this, we have to go through and do the other stuff, which is this. And in fact, I think I need more of this because this area back here is too... You can see through it too much. I don't know. If you guys find anything related to it on the forums, please point me in that direction. Because, you know, like I am sure I am making very clear, this is extremely important to have working. There's not much I can do in the long run without it. Especially since it's not just the terrain that's difficult. And especially since it's not just this map that's being difficult. It's every map, and it's the terrain, and it's the texture. It's the things that go on both the route and... Hold on. Save that. If it's because of this, I'm gonna eat my hat. I'm not wearing a hat, but, you know. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go into here. I'm gonna go into here. No, we're not gonna go into here. What we're actually gonna do is we're just gonna go into edit route. And so we're gonna be editing route instead of editing session. And we'll see if that makes a difference. And if it does, disappointed. Seriously? No wonder why this isn't a common problem. Because I'm the only one that does things this way. Alright, well, moment of truth, let's go try it on Tolbrand. Sure, don't save, whatever. Doesn't matter to me. Alright, we're gonna have to do the thing that I never do, with good reason. We're gonna have to go in here, we're gonna have to edit route. So, the things that we do here... That means the things that I... Okay. That means what I have to do off camera is the signals. And I think that's about it. And then when I save new, I have to save it from the session. That should be the thing that I have to do. So here we are. We're back. We have some grass because it's in the route layer. We're always going to be working in route layer. Session layer shouldn't have anything. Oh, god damn it. That means all the grass is going to be gone. Let me guess, there's a huge chunk of grass in the middle here missing now. Come on, show me the lack of grass. Anytime you feel like it. Yep. Oh, that's frustrating. I don't like this at all. I hate it when I screw that up. Now the question is, do I leave it? And the answer is, yeah, you do. Because... Am I going to redo this? To be fair, this is the only bit I've done this way. It's the only bit I've done wrong, and it doesn't take all that much time. You know, if I really want to get it right, then that means... Oh, you know what? Let's just go and let's go and do our real moment of truth test over there, where it actually matters. I just don't like having to redo signals again and again. That's why I do it that way. Because the only thing, like, the session rules and the signals and the stuff like that, like... Okay. Still not great. No, it's not doing it. It's still not better, is it? No, it's not. Why was it better on the other route? Maybe then this is a product of Tolbrand size then. That's bad. that's extraordinarily bad, because that means that things are going to get even worse the more I work on Tolbrand. And I'm not prepared for that. I'm not prepared to have to, bail on Tolbrand because it's getting too big. I don't want to do that. It doesn't make sense, though. There are routes larger with much more content. I'm not the only person that makes large routes. Oh yeah, no, that's just as bad, pretty much, I think. How about texturing? Okay. Exit Surveyor. Back to the session. I thought we had it figured out. I'm gonna do one more test to see, because I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. I really am. Go back to the test route. Go into here. Go into session test. Edit session. Let's come in here. If things are hard again, then definitely the session has some sort of component. No, it's the size. Although I did go over here and... Oh no, it's not the size. It's this. It can't be the stuff I have loaded in. Why is it when I do it over here it takes forever? Is this a 5-meter grid? Yes. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do another test. Also, route layer, please. This is a 5-meter grid. What is this? 10-meter. Really? That's what it is? It's 5-meter grid versus 10-meter grid? 10-meter grid is performing that much better than the 5-meter grid? Well, mystery solved, I guess. But I'm not happy about it. Maybe I just do need the better processor. Maybe that'll help. I'll ask around. I'll see if other people are having this issue. So it's not the route, it's the grid. It's the fact that I'm using a 5-meter grid instead of a 10-meter. And I'm going to make certain of this by doing this. So 5-meter grid's over there. Lots of lag. 6 frames per second. This, 60 frames per second. On the borderline, still not good. Damn it. Well, the thing we could do, because this is what really matters, the thing we could do is we could, so we can update that like that, and it can't be undone. Now, things look good enough in 5-meter grid when they're mountains. But the thing that really makes 5-meter grid look good is when you have track, and this is going to look real bad, when you have track that runs through it with some serious texture and serious cuts and embankments and stuff. So what I could always do is I could do the terrain in 5-meter. No, but that still gives me the problem of having to paint over it, and I'm just going to use green for an example. It still gives me the problem of having to paint over it this slow way. That said, I'm not sure it really matters that much. Although if we're moving and doing it at the same time, then things are really getting sort of futzed up. But okay, we've solved our mystery. It has to do with the 5-meter grid. We might have to go back to using 10-meter for the time being in the areas that we're working in that we haven't done terrain in yet. And again, we can always switch it over to 5-meter, which I think I vaguely recall them saying this. So let's that's what it looks like. Let's go over to the 10. Is this 10-meter? That's 5. Yeah. So this looks like this is it, you know, mixed up as we do. Doesn't look that much better, but you can tell that it's mixed up. If we change this to 10 meter, oh, that is 10 meter. Change it to 5 meter. Oh. All right, so note to self: do it for the ground, but don't do it for the texture, because that matters. I wish it would just not do that. Well, considering the amount of time it takes to get back into Tolbrand, I think I'm going to cut this here. And I hope that it doesn't continue to be that bad, you know, forever. I can see why it is being that bad. But it's frustrating. It's a little bit frustrating. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video despite everything. We'll be back to it next week with some new techniques on how to work on things and how to actually get the root done. Now that we know what's up, yeah. I don't know. I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed. I'm frustrated. I wish things would work. And I was so happy with the 5 meter grid, and I don't want to see it go. And I don't want to have to get rid of it. So, I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week. Trainman out.